Again. Whoa. And here we are. It would be the Craig the Dog-Faced Boy and Joe Mommy podcast. Welcome to it, episode 14 on the 3rd day of October 2024. What is going on?
We did it.
Yeah, welcome to it. We'll do another live stream for you today on today's live stream / podcast. Will you ever use Uber again? We're going to start the segment today with a pretty wild story about a family that used Uber and was in a horrific accident, then wanted to go after Uber, and we'll get to that here shortly. Another band sells their music catalog. We'll tell you who and for how much, and what's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you. 'Tis the season. You can jump on comments right now with that. Get going. Tell us what the creepiest thing is that's happened to you, and later on during the podcast stream, we will get to those. To this now. This is pretty good. Tell us what you think about this, because this happened in New Jersey, all right? I'm going to try to keep this simple to understand. A married New Jersey couple was in a severe accident during an Uber ride, okay? They cannot sue Uber, the company, and their daughter agreed to arbitration because, this is the key thing, all those little words, terms of usage, terms of agreement, every app, every phone app, everything on the computer, every service, every, you have to agree to the terms. So the whole thing is wrapped up in this, okay? So bottom line is they get into a Uber. They're going to go somewhere. The Uber driver speeds through red light. Boom, he gets T-boned. Destroys the woman's pelvis or back. It breaks the guy's sternum. I mean, they're just banged up to hell. Big time damage. They are recovering. A lot of physical damage, tons of emotional damage. There was loss of work, medical bills, yada, yada, yada. It was a pretty big deal. Tons of surgeries. They were in bad shape. So after all that happened, they're like, you know what? We're going to sue Uber. They hired this guy that was a reckless maniac. So they were going to go after Uber, but a judge said, no, we are not going to go forward with a suit because you agreed to the terms and conditions when, one, you got in the car, and two, when you got the app. Well, so the family said, whoa. We actually didn't do it on our phone. Our daughter got the Uber for us. So they said, hey, the daughter did it. The daughters agreed to arbitration, which is all you can do, meaning you can't take Uber to court. You can't go after him. It has to come down to an agreed upon arbitration, meaning Uber will, hey, okay, we'll give you $500,000. You're going to sign here and we're done. That's what it basically is. But yeah, the judge said he would not hear the case because they agreed to Uber's terms of use back in 2021. He said, no, you have no case against Uber. Uber's scot-free. They're clean.
What? So Uber's terms of use that designates that their drivers are all fully capable drivers that will not get into accidents?
Well, no. But you're getting in. Like, again, I don't have the terms of usage or the agreement in front of me. I guess I should have, but I know it's long. And I know people, especially on digital. And I'll answer your question. I'll try to. But you walk into like a lawyer's office and they hand you a stack of papers and a binder. You'll go through it. For some reason, I think digitally, when people want to sign up for an app or whatever, I think they just scroll. And because they think it's Uber, they're stuck out in the rain. They want to go somewhere. I think they just quickly, I agree. Yeah, give me spam. I agree. And they don't even ever read it. So to answer your question, Joe, I don't know what's in the wording with the agreement or the terms of usage, but Uber's ass is covered.
Has to be. It would. I was going to say I could go through my Uber app right now and try to find what it would be that would be covered by that. But they must say they've got licensed, insured drivers, because I'm sure you've got to have your license. I'm sure you got to have car registration. I'm sure you got to have insurance on the car, which would make you a legal, capable driver in the United States. Any one of us could leave here and drive 5 minutes to go get in an accident. Not to say that, you've never been in an accident with your Uber before, that you never will have one. It's very easy to have happen.
Yeah, and here's the thing. After they sign up to become a driver, how long until Uber's alerted, either through DMV or otherwise, that their insurance is current, that they have made car payments if they're paying on the car, that they haven't received a DUI, that they haven't had a bunch of speeding tickets. I have the terms and conditions here, and it's lengthy, and this goes back to December 4th of 2017. The contractual relationship, the services, your use of the services, user requirements and conduct. The service is not available for use by persons under the age of 18. You may not authorize third parties to use your account, text messaging, promotional codes. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. Here's payment. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Disclaimers, limitation of liability and the indemnity. The services are provided as is. I'm trying to not go into this, but I am now to the section where this would have applied to them, talking about lost data, personal injury, or property damage. Let me read this.
Yeah.
Uber shall not be liable. I found it. Uber shall not be liable for any damages, liability, or losses arising out of your use of or reliance on the services, or your inability to access or use the services, or Section 2, any transaction, this part here is good too. Uber shall not be liable for delay or failure in performance from causes beyond Uber's reasonable control. You acknowledge that third-party transportation providers providing transportation services requested through some request brands may offer ride-sharing or peer-to-peer transportation. It goes into the damages, et cetera, et cetera.
And now you see why none of us read this
Yeah,
like
I'm
you're
sorry.
You're going to read that before you're leaving the bar? I mean, no, this is good because we want to know what it is, but it's like no one's going to stand there with their woman or their boyfriend and read that before they jump in the Uber.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. It would make good sense, Joe, if you're going to go out and party and know you're going to contact an Uber at the end of the night, to sign up for the terms and conditions and get the app before you go to the bar and just get shit-housed. Wouldn't you want to make sure that you've got the app and it's figured out, you know how to use it?
Well, sure, but a lot of people, I mean, they don't do that,
No, they
Who
don't.
would? I wouldn't.
And it really doesn't go in to more of how this could go after the driver and become a civil suit. So the court said, no, you can't go after Uber. But there's not any discussion in this article as to whether or not they can or will go after the driver. But here's the thing. They go after the driver, it's going to dismantle his life, which he ran the red light and dismantled theirs, so that's worth it. But they're not going to get any big chunk of payment and get these doctor bills paid for. And, they're not going to get this big payday because I guarantee the guy's driving Uber. He doesn't live in a mansion and drive Uber at night because he's, bored.
Well, Most people, but I know people that have full-time jobs and they just drive Uber because they are bored.
Yeah.
Older folks in life and such.
And I think I told you this. I will keep the name secret or anonymous. I knew someone that was about my age a few years back, and they did have a full-time job, and they got kind of anxious at night. You know, they couldn't sleep well, so they drove an Uber or whatever the rideshare, one of them, and they would drive around at night, and because they were kind of bored, and they'd pick these people up at the bar. And the people at the bar would say, "Hey, man, you're going to sit out here and wait for us? Why don't you come in? We'll buy you a drink."
That's right. This kind of story is great. And I now totally remember this.
Yeah, the Uber driver, Lyft, I forget which it was he did. He's like, yeah, I'll come in and have a drink with you. They're like, yeah, woo. And they take the guy to the bar. They're like, yeah, check out our Lyft driver, man. He's crazy. And he'd go in there, and they'd break out the beer bong, and he'd drink 2, 3, and he would bar hop with these guys that would do this. And he did it multiple times, and he would get drunk. Now, again.
And he's driving them. He's driving them around and whatnot, man.
Yeah, and he's cruising around. And again, I guess he was still sober enough to maintain more than a customer.
That's crazy.
He was DUI. And he told me this, and I told the dude, I'm like, dude, that is insane. Not only, I mean, if you're going to do this, you have to endanger the other motorist or pedestrian that you hit. But you're going to do this. Now you have other cars and people on the road, but you also have 2 to 3 other lives in the back of your seat
that you don't even know.
No.
They're strangers.
And he loved it because they're, they get drunk. You pick drunk people up, they give bigger tips. But the best tip of all was like, hey, bro, come in, man. And then he'd go into one bar, and they thought it was cool that their Uber driver that's old is getting sloshed. And then they go, take us to another bar. And he'd go in with that group into that bar.
This guy, too, that he's talking about, he's not like he's a fellow that needs to be away from his home. He's got a happy marriage and a happy family and a good job.
No, he doesn't. No.
Oh, I thought that was the one that was the doctor.
No.
Oh. This is a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the doctor did that, too.
No. So I look at this, and I'm like, wow, this is a pretty big deal. Will it change the way you use Uber? Meaning, if they're not on the hook for this because you've signed terms and conditions, and I imagine they vary state to state with state law, but think about a taxi cab. There's no terms and conditions. You don't sign anything on a clipboard when you jump into a yellow cab.
No, and back in the day, you should have, because that was where you really got yourself excited, was riding in a cab, especially in New York or Chicago. Oh, yeah. Man.
Well, San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it changes the way people think. I know a lot of people won't ever hear the story, but wow, there's absolutely no responsibility on Uber's part, which blows me away. And this goes back to the whole freelance and the whole reporting of the monies and everything we went through a couple years ago with Uber and Lyft here in this state. But I would think I would much rather ride the cab. Because if you're not signing away your rights or terms and conditions with the cab company, they're on the hook. So I think it's a safer way to travel if you're worried about an accident.
I got to tell you, I can't even remember the last time I've seen a cab.
They're few and far. I mean, you got to go to like an airport or a big city to see like a legit cab, or a destination freeway that's going to an airport. So you'll see the van. Or you'll see the black town car,
Cabs are far and few between, though, man.
Yeah. Tony De Palma. Louis De Palma.
Louis De Palma. Yeah.
Yeah. He's all done. Business is closed up. So
well, what's Richard saying on here? He said he's not going to ever use Uber again. Probably won't ever use it again. Creepiest thing that ever happened to him and his wife was in an Uber while on vacation in Hawaii. His camera bag got stolen out of the rental car in the hotel garage, and then everyone at the hotel started, I guess, told him to get the, I got to click see more on your thing. Try to make these babies shorter if you can, Richard. Stared at us the rest of the week. Finally, someone I know found the video online. So they got it stolen out of an Uber. They took videos from their camera and posted it online.
Wow.
How about that?
Richard, if you could, part 2 to the story. What kind of video was it? Was it saucy video? Was it intimate video?
In quotation, it was in quotation marks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that video. And then they put it on. They put it on social.
They put it online. Oh, that's awesome.
Leonard clearly didn't catch the part, but Leonard said if the Uber driver wasn't at fault and obeyed laws, maybe Uber could get off. But nah. Oh, okay. Nah, the driver broke the law and caused the accident. So yeah, he does get the whole gist of it. And again, that's the other thing. See, Uber wants to be like the internet. They just want to be the conduit. And I get it. It's smart.
Sure.
They want the passengers and the drivers to hash this stuff out on their own. And it makes good sense that they're just connecting. But there has to be some responsibility or some safeguards beyond just standardized. Hey, do you have a license? Okay, it's legal. Do you have insurance? Okay. Do you have registration? Okay. And then go. And then, you get some maniac that's got, there should be some doctor, mental health checks, and there should be some dependency. And I know they do drug testing too. I would hope. I don't know.
Could they possibly, how are you going to test for pot?
Well, I would think that they would give you the order. Like, let's say it goes through the process. You got a car. Again, I know we could probably Google this, but I would hope that they would have to go to a prepaid doctor that Uber has hired or sent, and they go there to test. And it's
still, any single time, what if you're not having accidents and they tell you to go in for a test on a Tuesday and you've been smoking pot the last 30 days?
I hate Googling on the spot, but let's just do this. That's what Uber
everyone does on podcasts because you can do it so easily.
Drug test. Uber will register a drug test for you with LabCorp. See, you will get detailed registration info via email. Choose a convenient LabCorp location and provide your registration details. Okay, and what you do is on site, you give a urine sample. Now I'm going to put in this. Does Uber random drug test, okay?
Because everyone knows, while you're looking this up, everyone knows that the drug test at the beginning doesn't mean squat. If you've got to test throughout to make sure they're not doing it, because most drugs are out of your system in 3 days. Besides dope, that stays in you for a month.
So let's have a coin toss, Joe. Does Uber drug test after the initial hiring or not?
Yes. I'm going to say yes.
And I'll say no because I'm looking at it and that's accurate. No. Uber does not drug test its drivers after the initial drug test. So now I think we know why so many people want to drive Uber.
Well, sure. All you got to do is just drink the liquid there in the beginning or whatever that stuff is. It didn't work on me. Remember, I tried to drink that liquid when I quit back on the show many, many years ago.
You could drink that liquid now, you'd still come back positive.
I probably would. It took me almost 60 to 90 days to test clean from pot.
Yeah. That's why you should have known. I told you, I said, hey, bro, just go get a baggie, and I'll piss in it. And you just tape it to your thigh, take my urine. And he didn't want to do it. And I wished you would have, because I was going to give you, they sell that synthetic urine, but I told Joe, just go get, a Camelback and I'll pound it. I'll fill it up for you. You tape it against your thigh and you go in, and then that way it's warm.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do it.
Your body temperature,
Yeah. According to this, they also stated that the company did a vehicle inspection of their car. If you're working as an Uber driver and a passenger reports you to the company as being intoxicated or on drugs while driving, the company will take this, it says here, and I quote, very seriously. Okay.
That's great. Hold on one second. Lisa, you can barely hear me? What do you mean? My mic's not up loud?
You might be off it. No, don't.
Sorry. When I dropped that crap off the top, it knocked my volume level down. There we go. Sorry, Lisa.
But yeah, it's going to be kind of a crapshoot every time you get in. Here's what else I think Uber or Lyft, what they need to mandate. That's great. Yeah, because that's state law. You can't drive drunk. Okay. You got to have license, all this stuff. I want them to do a scent check.
What's that?
That means that Uber drivers, their car smells just like yours. They got all the Christmas trees and the scent and the Pet Boy spray. Oh, their fucking cars stink. And you get in and I don't know what they're doing. If it's cologne,
Why don't you like scents? That's a good smell.
it gives me a headache. I cannot handle, and especially fabricated cover-ups and fresheners. Oh, so
Fabricated cover-ups.
that's what Uber needs to crack skulls on. They need to really crack down on having scent-free cars.
Okay, all right. Duly noted. I'd like to have it just clean. It's nice for me. Do you like to talk in an Uber? That's a good question right there. Do you like your Uber driver to chat with you when you're going back and forth to places?
No.
What?
No.
You just want to sit there in silence?
No. Yes. And that's the other thing.
That's weird to me.
They need to have a selection, and I think on Uber Black they might, but you should have a selection. What scent, if none, and
do you want in your car?
and what music, what genre, what do you want to listen to? And you can pick either A, chat with driver, B, classic rock, C, rock, D, active rock, or E, light rock. And then you go through and you pick whatever it is, and then that way. And then, do you want the driver to be cordial or talk to you? No. You should have those boxes so when you get in, they know that you don't feel like doing this, and you don't have to listen to some imported deep album cut from Norway. It's just you get in a stinky car with weird music. It's creepy. I don't like it.
Yeah, you're not set up. You're not the kind of fellow to be an Uber user. Are you drinking coffee?
No, water.
Oh, okay. You're not the kind of fellow to go in with Uber. You've got to be able to enjoy the company of random strangers, which you do from time to time, but it's very rare. Very rare.
The time to time you're talking about is the time to time when I come out of the bar, the time to time when I'm a little unsober, when I'm tipsy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I am going to follow this. We'll follow this, Joe and I, to see what happens, see if there's going to be a civil suit. But yeah, be careful. You get into a big wreck with Uber for people that use them a lot. You're going to be dangling if, in fact, this driver, and now you know they test to get the gig, but there's no random test. And I think that's crazy.
Man, that's insane, dude. I don't know about that myself either. I still have to use them because I don't drink and drive. So I have to, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm going to go out and have drinks, I'm going to have to get a ride home.
Yeah, but according to this couple in New Jersey, maybe that Uber driver would have been smarter had he been drunk. He blew through a red light and got socked right in the side of the car. I'm
glad you said that because I wanted to ask you, doesn't just street law work in that situation? So maybe Uber doesn't have the driver at fault, but the cops will.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the cops will.
So that guy's insurance will cover that family.
Well, hopefully.
Well, no, it won't. We all know that doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yes, it's supposed to, but...
what do you mean? We just signed a deal with the state that we're shutting shop down. We're leaving New Jersey now. You knew for a long time we're leaving Florida and California where people really need insurance from hurricanes and wildfires and earthquakes. We didn't tell you. We were going to cover your policy, but we're all done. We're not going to cover the state of New Jersey either.
Just kidding, guys. Come on. We're just kidding. We weren't going to cover that.
Just absolutely stupid.
Yeah, it is silly.
Joe, if you want to get this piece ready, this is pretty big doings, and it is one of the bigger deals. Pink Floyd sells their recorded music catalog to the tune of $400 million.
Good night. Hold on one second. It's coming.
Yeah, they are going to make a bunch of money off this damn thing. And $400 million bucks. They're going to sell the likeness and rights to Sony Music, and it's going to be everything, likeness and rights. And they're going to cut the check, and $400 million bucks goes a long way.
Boy,
they're going to get it all though.
That's like who was the other big people? Was it Queen?
Well, I got a list here.
Yeah, I was going to say that when these kind of artists sell the entire catalog, boy, that is something right there.
Yeah, because what Pink Floyd got was chump change compared to, and by all measures that I've seen, I don't think anyone has beat Queen. When Queen sold off their rights, they did this, and this was completed in June of this year. It was $1.27 billion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they talked about this. There had been some small purchases of songs and different small things over the years. That's why you always, every every cruise ship, every bus, every commercial, every Best Buy, I want it all. You were seeing all these Queen songs popping up on all this stuff. It's because the rights went away in small part or portion. Well, now they have again, given it to Sony. They've done deal, and it's $1.27 billion.
Unbelievable. That's crazy, dude.
Bruce Springsteen, $500 million. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, talk shit, $500 million. That was a recent one. Phil Collins and Genesis, $300 million. Sting, $300 million. Tina Turner, $300. Same thing for Stevie Nicks. Kiss, $300 million. David Bowie, with all his artwork and kind of the cult following with him, I'm surprised they didn't get more. But David Bowie, in 2016 sold for $250 million. I think this is pretty smart. I like this because Katy Perry, she sold hers off, and she's young, $225 million. Justin Bieber, he did the same thing.
What'd he get?
He got $200 million.
Wow.
See, but here's the thing, though. They don't have this big track record behind them, but Justin Bieber and Katy Perry, it's smart because if they don't want to record anymore, they just got gigantic paydays. They've got a small body of work, but they're like, you know what? If I need money and I feel like doing music, well, I'll make another one or I'll go on tour.
Sure. Now, do they own what they would make new? So if Katy Perry makes a new tune or Justin Bieber makes a new tune, do they get that too?
It depends on how they dealt it, meaning what's in the paperwork. Probably on some, maybe not in all cases. And most of the artists will keep their merchandise that is from theirs or a portion of, or their touring sales separate.
Okay.
In some cases, though, they might own all, not just part, depending on the deal. Motley Crue, this is pretty big. This was in 2022. BMG bought it. They bought their catalog for $150 million.
Wow.
It's a lot of money.
For the Crew, it is. Yeah. I mean, they had obviously tons of good tunes, but they haven't been relevant for a minute or two.
And here's the thing with this, too, because Stevie Nicks, she did this back in 2020, and she only sold, I think, 80%. She sold her 80%, though, for $300 million, but then she got whatever they paid whoever they had to pay. It was either quartered or fifth or sixth or however they went. But Fleetwood Mac, they sold for $100. So Stevie got, 10 to 15 to 25 million from that sale. Then she sold her own stuff and got 300 million. So these people are just raking in money selling their catalogs.
But their stuff can be heard on anything. Anywhere. That's the part that I never really paid too much attention to until you started talking about it and bringing it up and mentioning it. And I was like, whoa, that's he's got a good point with that, actually.
But I think that's the thing. It's like, how long can you do this as an artist, tour and make music and protect it? And they've protected it so long. Think about Rumors. Rumors came out in 77? It's been protected so long, and the band never did anything with it, and the band knows they're not going to make any more new songs. They've guarded it and guided it. All these years, they're like, what are we going to do? We're all in our 70s, almost 80s. Let the world enjoy it. Let Sony do what they want with it. Give us our money. We're done.
Why not? That's kind of how I would think of it as well. Yeah, you've done your part. You've performed and entertained. Once somebody entertains for 30, 40 years of their life, thank you for that is what I feel like saying. Thanks, man. You made me laugh my ass off, or you made me sing. You made me feel whatever I needed to while your music was on, or while your skit, your comedy, your movie, what have you. I appreciate that. That's like when Matthew Perry died. That's why I just said thank you, because that son of a gun made me laugh so stinking hard so many times in my life.
Coming up today, we are going to do a Matthew Perry pill prescription or fake prescription update on the doctor that is going to jail. We'll tell you what his name is and how much time he's going to do in news. Yeah. And basically, here's just the spoiler alert. Here's the big thing. The doctor wrote up a phony prescription, and it may have funneled through a Stockton pharmacy. I don't know if they ever confirmed that or not, but yeah, and there was other people involved. But this doctor, he wrote a phony baloney, and it circled its way through, and Perry was able to get the stuff he wasn't supposed to have, or at least in that quantity.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because he's got all of his friends thinking that he's staying clean. And so even Jennifer Aniston was saying that she thought he was clean and sober there towards the end.
Mhm.
And I guess he necessarily was, with the exception of was it the ketamine?
Ketamine.
Yeah, the ketamine is what he had.
Yeah, and that was the big one in question with this doctor. That was the one he wrote phony. And you remember when that happened. I told you, how does a man of that age drown in a hot tub? You knew it had to be barbiturates, alcohol, ketamine. You knew it was that when it happened. My apologies.
That's all right.
But you knew a normal guy that was sober doesn't just slide into a hot tub and drown.
No, not typically. I mean, real weird, rare circumstances maybe could happen, but no, not usually. I fell asleep in a hot tub when I wasn't fired. Remember that? And I slept all the way until 3 a.m. out there in it.
Yeah, but see, even that, you fell asleep, you didn't go under. Had you slid or went under or taken on water, you would have
Yeah,
you would have choked, you would have gasped, you probably would have coughed water out, but you wouldn't have died.
I had prunes on my fingertips and toes, though, for probably about till 10 o'clock that morning.
Oh, well, probably matched the prunes underneath your belly button.
That's funny.
Funny. Let's get to the... Oh, I'm sorry. I said prune. I gave you too much credit. I meant raisins. I bet that matched the raisins underneath your belly button.
Stupid.
Jump on comments with this.
Excuse me.
What is the creepiest or spookiest thing you've ever encountered? 'Tis the season. Okay. I was almost going to give a phone number that you could no longer contact us on. Jump on with comments.
We will have a phone soon, though, won't we?
Yeah, we will. We will have a phone, and we can't wait. But until then, with the live stream, get on Facebook with the comments and tell us creepiest or spookiest thing you've ever encountered. Please, to go through these quickly, keep them kind of short. We don't need a whole book written up. Just give us the gist, what it was that happened to you. I'll share mine. Joe, if you've got one, you can share yours. But first, this one. This is pretty creepy. It's weird. All her life, my grandma was known to unexpectedly say wild things. Toward the end of her life, though, she didn't say much at all. She had a chronic illness, and it just required too much effort for her to talk. One day, my grandma and I were in the living room, just us two. She was dozing off in her rocking chair before she suddenly woke up and screamed, "It'll be bloody!"
Goodness.
Then she went silent again. The person, who we now know as a woman, was horrified. Later that day, I got my first period. Did she somehow predict it? I don't know. All I know is she woke up from a sleep and shouted, "It'll be bloody." And later that day, I was.
Oh, man. Weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Well, but hold on, though. You know how they say that you put birds of a feather, okay? You get 3 women, they'll start ovulating. You get 6 of them, they might start going within, they all kind of create. And
that's 100% true. Yeah, that's 100% true. Yep.
And
I remember that from college.
I'm guessing grandma was menopausal and had been for quite a while, but it could have been grandmotherly or womanly instinct, and she could have known by age or something. And I'm not trying to be gross, but hormone, scent, visual, something told grandma, because she was a woman, that this young girl could maybe be. And grandma dozes off and has a dream or whatever.
You think it was that? What if it was just she was having a dream? And there was something going on that was, maybe there was who knows? Grandma and grandpas have seen a lot in their life.
So just a coincidental, it'll be blood, so the dream is, the grandpa's she's like, "Hey, how do you want your hamburger?" And he says, "I want it rare." And then she goes, "It'll be bloody." You mean she was
something like that? Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
It could have been a random dream that had something to do with blood.
I mean, that's just wild, though. If it wasn't, that's wild. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Joe, ahead, go and conjure up one of you. I just want to go here to Facebook and see if we have any comments, if they've had time to get anything in for the creepiness.
One of the scariest things in my life, because I don't really get into situations where I get too scared, but This was a jump scare situation for me, and at 49 years of age, I've told Dog about it before, and I bring it up to my buddy, my best buddy, Brian, who I've told you about on the show. All through, every time we talk, it happened in college. We all lived in a house. There were 4 of us, and we all had 4 bedrooms. And this guy would love to jump scare people, no matter what time of day it was. It was like 4 in the morning, man. It was early. I had just gotten up to go to the bathroom. I don't even know what he was doing up. I have no idea. None of us had classes that early in the morning. None of our girls were over. We were just all 4 sleeping. And I come out of the bathroom, and I go walking back to my bedroom, and Brian is down on all 4s. He's down on all hands and knees, and he's crouched down behind the corner that I turned, so I can't see him. And as soon as I walk around the corner, he goes, ah, and grabs the bottom of my ankle right by my foot. And I almost died. I mean, it scared me so bad. I was like, what are you doing, dude? He was laughing. Nothing in my life has ever jump scared me that badly. I was fully unprepared for that. I thought it was safe and protected in my house. I mean, it scared me to death, dude.
Someone just put in comments, I accidentally hit a button here and it scared Joe the other day. Joe is very, very easily scared, though, and jumpy. I would just stand behind a wall because I would know that he's coming in the door or getting off the elevator. And sometimes I'd go, hey, like really loud. And other times I'd just walk up and I might touch his shoulder and go, hey.
And that's the one that gets me the most.
Yeah, I'd walk up behind him and go, hey. And he would, he'd drop his bags. He'd piss his pants. He's like, oh, my God, what's wrong with you? He'd spill his coffee. And I'm like, why are you so jumpy? You know no one else can be in this building.
Oh, it's so scary. I don't know why. It just scares the crap out of me, man. It really does.
I want to go to this one here. Alex says, my wife would wake me up in the middle of the night, sit straight up and talk in a language. Oh, man, these are jumping through too quickly now. My apologies.
Ooh, that's a scary one.
My wife would wake up in the middle of the night and sit straight up and talk in a language I've never heard of. After the 3rd time, I recorded her and found out she was speaking ancient Aramaic. Was that supposed to be Arabic?
Ancient Aramaic, maybe?
Yeah. It stopped just as suddenly as it started.
Weird.
And again, I would ask this, Alex. Are you sure it was a language, or was she speaking in tongue? Or tongues, as they call it. And they say that is extremely creepy, and lots of people have heard people do that as well.
That is what speaking in tongues is.
That's the speaking in Aramaic?
No, speaking in tongues is just speaking in a language that you don't know and that person did not know before. So it sounds foreign, and it sounds like nothing you've ever heard, but typically there is some sort of a language involved with it.
Well, I thought speaking in tongues was more religious.
That's what they use it in the religion field because of why can't I think, possession, demonic possession. When they think the devil's got you possessed, they say you'll speak in tongues. But really, what it is like an old style of language that would have been back in the day of when Jesus or any of those guys were around.
Huh?
Maybe that's what this is, ancient Aramaic. I thought it was Arabic, but it could be Aramaic. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a typo, but I could be wrong too. Because M's not that far from B.
Ooh, look at Carly's.
Okay, no one was home, and I heard someone call my name.
Ah!
Carly, so you know, that was me.
Yuck.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
There was a neighborhood in Fort Lewis, Washington I used to patrol as a military cop. This neighborhood used to always report suspicious things being stolen or moved, mostly pictures of dead family members. There was also people reporting things
inside the house.
Inside the house. My God, this is long.
That's okay. This is good.
Keep going, Joe. You finish it. I don't care. It's got the word ghost in it.
Pictures of things inside the house that were moved or relocated while nobody was inside. So they reported a break-in. Meanwhile, valuables were never stolen. People always said it was a ghost. I wasn't a believer. Later, after I finished my contract, I found a Forensic Files episode showing the same neighborhood where a soldier murdered his spouse, and staged a suicide. Won't forget that for as long as I live. Rest of the base had no such stories. That's terrifying.
Well, I'll just share mine, and I've shared it for a long time, and it's still the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me. And I really dug deep trying to think if there's been anything that creeped me out. And it's still to this day. It happened when we were at the swamp early on. I'll never know who or what it was, but about 2 in the morning, 1:30, 2:15, all I hear is, but louder. Remember I told you, someone beat 3 or 4 times as hard as they could on the front door or a wall. And then it was over. And we were working at the swamp. Chester was still with us. He was sleeping with me. My wife and I were in separate bedrooms because I got up early.
Oh, that's right. This was at your house. Yes. This is good.
Yeah. And we jump up. I run into the other room. I look at my wife and she's just sitting up. She's like, what was that? So, I didn't have the gun in my bedroom at that time. So I grab rifle, I grab pistol, I grab Chester. Boom. We run out the front door and I told him go. He ran through the corn. He ran the property. He knew what was going on because it woke him, and I told him to go find it. He came back. Don't know who it was. Don't know what it was. Don't know exactly where it originated on the house, but it did sound like front door or living room. It happened once only, never happened again, and we don't know what it was.
And never found out either, did you?
It had to be. It was someone. A few people knew where I lived. And
there's no way nobody would come by there and knock on your door like that. Just buddies of yours or listeners. Nobody would do that.
Yeah, they would. I would do it. That's funny.
All kinds of people know where I live. Yeah, they don't do that.
But I know. But when you're out in the country, I mean, this bang, it wasn't a pipe. It was too loud. It was too deliberate. It was like a cop knock. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, oh my God. I would wake up I would grab the gun if that was the case.
I did.
Yeah, that would scare me to death.
I did. I was out running around barefoot in my underwear with 2 guns and a dog trying to find, and there was no cars. The corn was cut low.
That's why listeners won't do that. And what do they call that? Ding and ditches or whatever, because they know there could be the rare possibility we might shoot them. Yeah. We don't know who they are. I mean,
it's shoot first, ask later. But the dog, I told Chester, I said, Chester, go see. And he went on patrol. He ran, and he came back. And he came back kind of happy, like, quickly.
He would have known. That dog would have known. Remember, he used to swim the oceans and kill lions when he was younger.
Hold on. I told you. I never saw him kill a lion, but he would bring lion parts back. I theorized that he was crossing the channel or the pond. Yeah, and he was, because unless he was going to zoos and busting.
No one ever reported him missing.
Well, he killed lions and he found lion bones somewhere, and I don't know where they came from.
Weird story, man.
The weird thing is he was bringing the lions not from Africa. He was bringing them over from England.
Oh, my goodness gracious, Troy.
Another one?
Troy's is rough.
Go.
Ooh, okay. Yikes. I currently live in a house in Roseville where the neighbor next door in 1976 shot the original owner. She came in the back, went into her room, which is theirs now, Troy and I'm guessing his wife, shot her in the back of the head. I confirmed this with a relative. We see her all the time, the owner. I get headaches, but it seems my headaches was where she was shot in the head.
Come on.
She isn't evil, but she is still here, he says. That could be something.
Okay, well, for you, okay, because you believe. To me, that's nothing. And the
reason headaches in the same spot? What would cause that?
Because he's thinking about it. It's the placebo. He's over concerned and enthralled and consumed, and just it's all he thinks about. And he's manufactured or manifested that pain because he won't stop thinking about it. That's my explanation.
Man, that's crazy. I believe you, Troy. I do. That's crazy. I love that. You guys tell some good stories. There was another one up here I wanted to share too, because I think I know what her name was. Abby. Let me find her real fast. Abby Bingham.
You do Abby, and you know what? We'll keep this one just a little short. After that, we will do news.
Okay. She lives near the Appalachian Mountains. and have heard something yell, "Hey," at me. Now, Abby, let me tell you something. You might immediately go to like a Bigfoot or a wolf man or the dog man or something like that. But this is what I have truly heard about the Appalachian Mountains. It's a true story. I have family. My sister married a guy. As you know, I went to my sister's wedding last year. She married a guy who has family that lives in West Virginia, and they are snaked up to the Appalachian Mountains. The family that he has there has an adventure park and owns many, many thousands of acres in the Appalachian Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains not only have a family and a town that is kept completely alone because of inbreeding. The people that live in the area, they don't let people come into it. There was a show that was on, I forget what channel or YouTube or something like that a while ago that documented and talked about it.
Is that real, though? They've got this town sealed off because they all just had sex with one another?
For, generations.
Centuries?
Yeah. So they leave them alone. But here's the thing. A long, long time ago, when things started to get modernized and production, cars, what have you, were taken off, a giant group of people went to the Appalachian Mountains to get away from it all. And I'm talking like a giant group of people, hundreds of them. They went into the Appalachian Mountains. None of them have ever been heard from again. And people will tell stories that there is a group of folks, they call them the wild people, that live up in the mountains in Appalachia. And they are human. They're 100% human, but they are rewilded. They've went back out into the woods and lived that way.
Okay, so you're saying that they ate them?
No, I'm saying they became wild people.
Oh.
And they started, they've got a civilization of wild folk up there. And it's real, dude. People that hunt up there and live up there, they've seen them. You can smell them before they get to you. You can see them. They're not Bigfoot-sized footprints. They're human-sized footprints in areas where there should be no barefooted people. They're there.
Why do you believe all of this? But when I tell you something that's legitimately covered and printed on 7 to 8 credible news sites, you won't buy it. But this you act like everyone. This is just another goddamn version of Bigfoot. You won't believe anything that's legitimately real. But you're going to talk about people that went into the Appalachian Mountains years ago and they turned into Appalachian people
wild
eaters.
Folk. Yeah. I don't know if they eat people or if they're cannibals or whatnot, but I'm telling you, that's a swear to God on my life true story. It's real.
Anyone that would go to the Appalachian Mountains and stay there, you know what those people are called? Idiots. That's what they are.
Well,
they're idiots.
It's rugged up there, man. I'll tell you that. That's a wild territory.
And isn't the Appalachian, isn't that brought us that fantastic story of the Mountain Dew teeth? All the kids, all the kids that were there. The moms, instead of giving them breastfeeding or, Infamil.
Milk and all that.
Yeah, they would start giving them Mountain Dew, and it changed. They now have 2 or 3 generations of this going on, or however long Mountain Dew's been around. It's changed now the bone structure and the jawline of some of these kids because
it ate it away, yeah.
It rotted their teeth out, and it's creepy. It's weird.
You believe that?
I saw pictures of them. They talked about that like on 60 Minutes and Dateline, and that's been all over. How
are you going to get pictures of the wild people?
These weren't the wild people. These were the kids that were addicted to Mountain Dew.
You're wanting pictures of the stuff I'm telling, but you're not going to be able to get those. You go up there with a reporter. Come on.
Fuck no. I don't want to see the wild people. I do not need pictures. I believe you. As soon as I saw those Mountain Dew teeth, I believe everything you say about the Appalachian Mountains. I don't need proof.
Oh, it's crazy up there, dude.
That's wild. Well, thank you for that. You want to do news?
Troy. Yeah, let's do news.
Or you got another one?
No, that's good.
All right, we'll do some news for you.
This just in, friends.
Okay, friends. A World War II era bomb explodes at busy Japanese Mizaki Airport. This was a World War II era bomb, and it was right underneath a roadway. And this damn thing exploded, and it caused the cancellation of 80 flights. The explosion wasn't as horrific or large as you think. It kind of looks more like a brick being thrown into a mud puddle from far away.
Well, think about it. It had all that road and stuff on top of it.
Yeah, and it was down there. Plus, it had deteriorated. It lost its potency, and it was covered up. but it was underneath this busy Japanese airport, and it went off late Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. And because there's cameras all over and flight cameras, they actually did get a small little video or photograph of it exploding. And it wasn't too bad, too big, and nobody got hurt. But they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Are there more underneath there? Is this like the cake timer went off and all these things are
kidding.
Poof, poof.
Yeah.
So everything's okay though now. And are there probably more? They said probably.
Poor Japanese folks, man, they have gone through, golly, I'm telling you, man, that is a nation of people that have been dealt rough cards.
Yeah.
They really have. That's crazy.
We talked about this yesterday, and now there's an update to it. There was over 120, some say approaching 200 men and women that are going to accuse Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy now, and there's evidence that when he would have these parties, okay, because there was a claim yesterday that a 9-year-old child was involved. Diddy party photographer, who reportedly broke the 1999 Jennifer Lopez romance, says nude bashes were abound, but he remembers seeing warnings for kids to stay out. So, if in fact
if you're a younger person, don't come up into this place right now kind of deal.
Yeah, and there's been multiple child trafficking allegations, but this guy, and he's not saying that Diddy didn't do it. He's just saying he has photo evidence that, yeah, there was some pretty swanky stuff going on, but he's got photo evidence too that would tell the children to stay out. Now, again, I don't know what law or etiquette is for orgy, okay? But
law etiquette is no kids.
Sure. But if the doors are closed, you would hope that, I guess they have to be locked. But you remember, I forget what the actress's name was. She said that she'd go over to Hugh Hefner's and she would see stuff and they would find books or pictures and they'd kind of roam around the house. And it was very kid-friendly, but known that it was also only appropriate in certain areas for no kids or adults only. And she went to the house all the time. I forget who the woman was. But she said they knew where they could and couldn't go. And they typically, if they were going to have a big grotto party, there wouldn't be kids.
Right.
But you never knew
they were serious about that over there. I don't think Hefner was into that, any of that child nonsense. He was into that woman broke his heart. You told us a story about that many, many years ago at the meth lab. That lady broke his heart. He was just into being a filthy pig with women.
Well, and that's the thing too. And I have no allegiance, knowledge, or care or love for P. Diddy. But I just wondered too, if because a lot of people are talking children and all that, I just wonder if in fact this stuff got out of hand and some kids that were there that were brought by people, that kind of got mixed into it unintentionally. I'm not saying it makes it right, but I don't know if he deliberately out and out did that. I'm not saying he didn't. He might have, but I kind of think it's probably the same case as the Playboy Mansion. I'm wondering.
I would have to think with most of the bigger folks. I mean, yes, there are the animals out there. We've seen them many a times. But if you're that popular and you got that many people with that kind of clout coming in and out of your parties and in and out of your house, I would think that child stuff is not going to be a part of it. Because they're not all into it. They're not all into it.
Well, here's the thing. For the mildly deranged, the moderately sane, and the sane, almost all times you get a group of people that are hedonistic or want to have sex or whatever. You bring a kid into it, you're like, whoa. Most people stop. Now,
yeah, what are you doing? That's that just killed it for me.
When you go over that hump of mildly deranged into deranged, psychotic, and just clinically freaking nutso, okay, that's a different story. But most people will band together to do the right thing with women and children.
Well, when you think about how far your wires have got to be crossed, for you to look at a child instead of going, oh my gosh, what a cute little thing. How does that change? You got to be so effed up in the head. Yeah. Like you ain't even nowhere near normal.
No.
Put them down.
A California doctor pleaded guilty yesterday in a deal with federal prosecutors over the fatal overdose of Friends star Matthew Perry last year. The guy's name is Mark Chavez, 54, appeared before the U.S. District Judge and pleaded to conspiring to distribute ketamine to Perry, even with a plea deal. He faces up to 10 years in prison, and that'll take place on April 12th. He has agreed he will no longer practice medicine. He surrendered his passport, and according to the 18-count indictment, Chavez is one of 5 individuals, and since he surrendered, he'll remain out on bail. So he's not a flight risk. It seems like he's going to take his lumps. But basically, I'll keep it short and sweet. He did write a phony prescription. He's from San Diego. It funneled up to L.A., possibly to a Stockton pharmacy that either knowingly or unknowingly made or filled the prescription, or that's where the ketamine came from. They don't know if there's any connection. That place in Stockton hasn't been charged. But basically, they wrote up like a fake butterscotch something or other. He wrote it on the thing. He used initials. No one knew it was ketamine. Somehow, he wrote something phony, and he got caught.
Wow. That sucks, man. All for a little bit of extra money. Wonder what he was getting paid. Paid to kill a man.
And other people in this indictment said this guy was like a drug dealer. He was no better than a street dealer, this doctor.
Oh, I'm quite sure, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, really, to make money, you have...
So many options.
Yeah.
So many options.
You're a doctor. It's like, this is what I would do. How many haircutters do you know over the years? They go to the salon, the studio, and then you know a couple. And on Saturdays, they'll have the girls over. They'll do the neighborhood kids, or they'll cut hair in the garage. And see, that's what I do. If I'm a doctor and I'm leveled up, I'm going to do heart surgery or liver transplants in my garage on Sunday and go after big money. I'm not going to be peddling drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Why drive to Mexico when you can come to my garage?
Hey.
I even got a table we can lay you down on.
Yeah, hey, tell me, for all the people out there that can't afford medicine or medical, and you got some guy who opens his garage up on Saturday, and you see him out there, he's got his mask on and his coat, and he's out there doing, Operation Real Life. Hell yeah, I might try it.
Garage surgery in America compared to normal in Mexico or another foreign country? Sure. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm going garage surgery.
Yeah, I might as well.
We had this conversation on Monday. Joe did not like it. He did not believe it. Now we got to pound the nail a little bit harder. We were talking about Digger's 14th birthday, and Joe having the condom conversation and showing him how to put one on. This is what they're saying now. Kids nowadays don't want to wear them. They talk about a university, talking about Ole Miss. They put out bowls of condoms every day. Kids walk by, they snicker. Kids look at them, they point. It's funny. But school officials say even though kids don't like condoms, oddly, we do fill this bowl up often. They say the reason young kids, 15 to 24, don't like condoms, okay? It's all because AIDS is no longer real, okay? They're not having sex the way they were, and they say that there's still a spread of gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis cases, and half the people that get those diseases are aged 15 to 24. So, the AIDS, not a thing. But these kids don't even know about chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. That's what the young teen and 20s are getting if, in fact, they're having sex.
What's the one you can still get with a condom? There's like if
I don't know.
Whatever skin to skin is, if you touch your upper pelvic area to their
like
upper
crabs?
pelvic area, yeah, that might be one. Crabs is maybe herpes. Is that one maybe or
maybe
gonorrhea? I don't know what that. I've never had them. I don't know what any of them are, but there's something that kids could still get or people could still get if you wore a condom. It was something where a skin to skin contact above and around, like on your legs or your upper pelvic area. Or somewhere, if it touched and that was there, whether you had a condom on or not, you could still get this STD. So that's probably where that beginning rumor started from. But the AIDS ain't around anymore. That's nonsense.
No.
It is around.
No. To them, like how we grew up with it in the 80s and 90s, it was a thing. To them, it's not a thing. Even though it's around, it's not as prevalent as it was. But to the kids nowadays, 15 to 24, it's not real. They say long-term birth control options, drugs that prevent sexually transmitted infections, and widely varying degrees of sex education in high school is what's keeping kids from either having sex without a condom or abstaining or not wanting to use them or whatever. And I told you, do not rely on public education to educate your child with how to use a prophylactic or contraceptive. You just can't.
Well,
And then-
not if that's the kind of stuff being circled around out there.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to teach them. That's scary. 15 to 24 years of age, those are half the age group that gets the chlamydia and the gonorrhea and the syphilis. That's terrible.
Well, you think one of those things are bad, kids? Just wait till you have a baby. Huh? Huh? Yeah, oh boy, chlamydia sounds real scary, doesn't it? Have a baby. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, get yourself one of those.
Don't know if you know this or not, but those babies, oddly, turn into people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And baby just doesn't go away after 6 months or a good shot in the ass, whatever you're going to take for
Yeah.
your, You got
Vaccine.
yeah, they're there. Yeah.
Joe, you can hit the next piece. We're going to wrap up now. It's
Oh,
exciting. 'Tis the season. Halloween is official hitting. McDonald's is bringing back for the holidays boo buckets.
Oh, the boo bucket.
I told Joe I go get a picture of this. I've never seen these. I've never heard of these. Did you know about these?
Probably, I would think. I don't recall or remember, but I'm sure I've seen these things somewhere.
Well, get ready, because here in about 12 days, they're going to offer boo buckets October 15th for a limited time this year. The pails come in a new color, blue, replacing last year's color of purple. Each bucket also comes with stickers, so kids can customize the look. This is the third season for the seasonal offering. McDonald's brought back the boo buckets as a nostalgic nod in 2022. Okay, hey, old McDonald had a condom. E-I-E-I go. Put it on. That's what they should put in the boo buckets. So when you go out to see your boo, you sleeve up. That's what they should do. Put condoms on there for Halloween.
There's something wrong with you, man, honestly.
Hey, I'm just really? Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to offer apple slices. Really? Kids are still getting fat because they're eating just truckloads of French fries, and then they're having a little packet of 3 apple slices. You want to do something healthy for the kids? Show them how to put a condom on, Ronald.
What a Happy Meal box. That's a boo bucket for the parents. Oh,
Yeah.
not a condom in there? I'm pretty impressed that McDonald's can send them 3 apple slices out and they stay without getting brown. They're unbrowned when you get them. That's a damn pretty hard feat to do.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know why.
How much apple's in those apple slices?
I
Because you've
know.
seen firsthand what happens to an apple when you leave it out overnight.
Or you leave it out for 5 minutes.
Yeah, they brown. We're good. Tomorrow's Friday. Again, thank you so much for hanging. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Chime in with what you liked, what you didn't. Make comments on what you heard. Make requests for what you want to hear. And we'll do it again tomorrow.
Yes, thank you so very much for hanging out with us, guys. It really is a lot of fun. We'll talk to you tomorrow and get through some of your comments. We'll try to answer those back today, too, as well, okay? Have the rest of a great day, man. Thank you. Play nice.